Cool.
So, all right, we're recording. Go ahead.
Cool, man. So a little background. So we're a B2B SaaS system of record for the fitness retail space. So think of the GNCs of the world, NutriShop. If you ever seen a NutriShop, we're in a lot of NutriShops. So what happened, my brother bought a couple of NutriShops, Woodland Hills, California, Santa Clarita, California, which I thought was crazy because Amazon was eating everybody's lunch. This is like 2 years ago. And so I worked remotely at the time in tech. I worked point of sale and Procore. And so I was remote. And so I was just hanging out in my brother's shops trying to figure out what the hell was going wrong because he wasn't making any money. And they were doing a lot of cool things to bring people through the doors. Like, it was pretty impressive. I'm like, that's a really good idea. There's enough value here to keep people coming in if you can 10x what you're doing. And they just weren't doing enough of these items. And some of these things were, they had an in-body analyzer. It's a composition analyzer where you stand on the scale. It runs electrodes to your bodies. It tells you your fat mass, your muscle mass. I'm like, that's cool. You give people free scans,
tons
right?
of value.
Great. But promote that. And then it would print out a sheet and it would have all their metrics on it. I'm like, that's cool. Too bad it's on paper, but that's pretty cool. And then watching more, realize they weren't really collecting any information for that little value, right? They should be collecting some information on that customer to get them back. And then I also noticed that the other cool thing they were doing was running fitness challenges. And so people would come in, they said, hey, we're doing a fitness challenge. You can win $500, get into the challenge. You weigh in every week, right? Revolving door back into their store.
They're coming back. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, that's cool. Except on the weigh-in days, there was a line out the door. They would have to manually print 2 sheets now, which is really expensive, paper and ink, print 2 sheets so the shop could keep one. And then they would go and do all the numbers later and then tell people where the standings were on a whiteboard. I'm like, that's awesome, but being done really poorly. And then we saw they were handwriting meal plans. Sometimes they were free, another value thing to get people come in. And sometimes they were charging like $200 a month for these meal plans. I'm like, holy crap, we need to standardize that. And so we went to set out to solve all 3 of those.
Amazing.
And so we tapped into an API into the scale, which was going to be the grabber of all information, because if you have that, I can solve all the other problems, right?
Yep.
I can do the meal plans because I have their body information. I can do their fitness challenges because I have their body information. And so once we established that integration, our first thing was we need to create a system of record for the shop. They have no way to market. They have no way of collecting in a single place. They have no way of collecting information. And they don't have a way of collecting information very easy. People want to get on, they're getting on the scale, they're taking their socks and shoes off. It's not that much more of an ask to say, hey, opt into my marketing, right? And so that was the first iteration, was doing that. So as soon as you get on the scale, customer gets a text message saying, welcome to NutriShop, Oceanside. Download the free Fit Manager app to see your results and for helpful fitness tools. Boom, they sign up, they opt in, problem solved. Get rid of the paper and the ink, they're saving money already, okay? And then we realized, okay, let's move on to doing the fitness challenges. And now we help them, the fitness challenges, you can set up a 10-week fitness challenge in 30 seconds. You add your picture, you choose your windows, and everybody who has the app gets alerted. There's a new fitness challenge, you can win this much money. People start opting in instantly. And then we build out their promotion materials. We give them Instagram, Facebook printouts, and they can go market. And now all the customers have to do is jump in, come into the store during a weigh-in window. They get automatically reminded, come in and weigh in. And all they do is jump on the scale. We grab that weigh-in. We measure them up from their last time. They get their points, right? And then that allows the shop to not spend all their day just weighing people in. They can now have that conversation selling product, right? That's what it was meant to do anyway.
Right.
So, and then the meal plan was a surprising one once we finally set out to go do that one, in that we realized if you just keep it $25 a month, automatic rebill.
They never cancel.
They never cancel. They love it. And the biggest win is not that we rev share with the shop. The shop gets $15, we get $10. But that's not even the biggest win, is that they now have thousands of dollars coming in monthly where before the only time they ever got anything was selling something off the shelf. All their cash is sitting on this shelf, right? And so now they're selling code, right? And that's why we love SaaS, right?
Absolutely. And MRR is the fucking
Yeah.
sexiest thing in the world. Yeah.
All of a sudden they're getting MRR, and you'd be surprised how many shops are so thankful right now during
Of
COVID.
course.
They got this
Predictable
MRR, right?
revenue for a retail business is just like they can sleep better at night.
Yeah, and we haven't, that's why we haven't lost any shops to the pandemic. Some of them are having the best months of their lives, and so
Wow, that's awesome.
but the biggest win, they're not even super stoked about the money. They are, but the bigger thing is that they're not handwriting meal plans all day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They just
No,
kind of
you found an old school industry that nobody had really disrupted yet, because there's a big gap between tech bros and like muscle heads. You know
yeah,
what I mean? I did
yeah,
a call earlier this year with a dude that has a huge SaaS business around personal training and stuff. And I was like, you're the first. And he was like jacked in the call. And I was like, you're the first guy to bridge that gap, because it's like
yeah.
totally, they're worlds that don't talk to each other. So totally, totally see the value. And as you're talking about it, I feel like you could take that software, I mean, with a couple of tweaks, and find other archaic old industries. For instance, jewelry retail businesses. I mean, I know my family business is in jewelry, and they don't do any email capture, nothing. And the LTVs of these customers are in like the six figures, because they're buying stuff over 10 years that are $20,000 a year, whatever it is. So, so you could take that, you know, after you own this demographic or this target, and probably reapply a lot of that same existing software. I mean, not the way and stuff, not necessarily challenges, but, you know, just I'll give you an example. There is an ESP, an email service provider for the yoga and wellness industry. And like I said, my girlfriend's in that space, and it's like Namaste Light, I think is what it's called. It's just a simple MailChimp copy, but they have 20,000 paying customers in the yoga studios worldwide. And I tried to, I thought, I didn't try to, I don't really have the time, but I talked to my dad. I'm like, hey, is there anybody in the jewelry industry making an ESP or any software? He's like, absolutely not. We don't know anything about that stuff. And there's about 9,000 to 10,000 independent jewelry stores in America. Anyway, not going to waste time on this call with that, but I think it's so great. So is the question then, how can you acquire more people outside of the family-owned Nutra shops already?
So you touched on, you know, a possible like expansion of the market, right? And we're super niche, right? People are like, wow, you're not even just in retail, you're fitness retail. And I'm like, for a long time I thought it over niched, but that's not a thing if you own the space, right? You
Exactly. Yeah. 1,000 good paying customers is still 1,000 fucking paying customers. So you're saying you get $10 out of each person on a meal plan per month?
So each shop, we have 65 paying B2B shops now, just paying their SaaS fee. The SaaS fee is $199 a month. And then they pay for our text message. They pay 2 cents per text message that they use through our platform, right? We collect all the data. So now we give them a way to, you know, sell it. So the text message has been good revenue. And then the meal plan is that third one. And so if they activate meal guidance, we get $10 per month for every person they sign up. And we drop $15.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's been cool. It's been really good. So we're at 65 shops. We're at about 400 meal plan subscribers. Before the pandemic, we were at like 700. So there's room to grow there.
And you built this like yourself, or you have a team, or?
So I started it myself with my twin brother, and now we have a team out of Moldavia that he was a cool guy that we had met when he was here, and we just kept in touch. And once I got to a point where we couldn't do it, he's now scaling out his team, and so they're 100% with us.
Nice. Oh, that's awesome. Cool. Yeah. And those 65 customers that you already have, those have been acquired through blood, sweat, and tears, knocking on doors, or?
So the first 4 or 5 was easy, because we're like, hey, my brother owns a shop. We built something. We want you to check it out, right? You can have it for free. So the first 4 shops got pretty easy. And then what we did is, if you give us a referral to a shop that you know, another shop, we'll give you a month off. And so that's all we've done. We've done no outbound. We've done no like affiliate. We've done no ads. It's all been word of mouth, 100% up to this point.
Amazing. And you have like social media. I mean, I didn't get enough time.
We have a Facebook page. We have a Facebook and Instagram page. And the thing, to get down to brass tacks, to show you kind of where I'm at. And I know you're the growth guy. So can you let me share my screen? I think you have to enable it. And then I'll show you kind of what I'm thinking about the outbound. The outbound's a brand new thing for us.
All right. You should be okay now. Can you do it now?
Yeah. Yeah. So let me show you. So just a little bit of context. Realizing we haven't done any outbound and we've been stuck at 65 shops for a year. We're like, oh, we should probably call some of these guys. And what that made us do is made me realize I don't know as much about outbound and marketing as I would like. And so I jumped into salesprocess.io. Have you heard of that with Nick Cosman? He's all over
I've seen
selling
the ads.
$10,000 program. Yeah. So we paid 10,000 and I did it. And it was, yeah, yeah. And it was helpful. It was helpful. Like it's very much like a group thing. It's not one-on-one, so it's expensive, but it really helped. One, it helped me realize that I didn't over niche. And two, I need to get my offer together before I go make a claim, right? Like what is the claim and can you prove it, right? All the classic social proof and testimonials. And so spent a lot of time gathering that. So I've been through this program. I'm not fully done with it, but I've got a lot of that done. So we now have a sales letter. We got a video sales letter. It's about an hour long. And then I also set up the tracks of where the leads can run. And I'll show you what that looks like. And maybe you can give me some insight on that real quick, but let me pull that up.
Damn. Yeah, I was wondering for feedback on that program because I have a business I started during the pandemic that is all very sales focused subscription business, B2B, and marketing is very different than sales. But
yeah, and that was what we had to do. We had to get our sales letter nailed down so that the message makes sense because there's a lot of features. So once we did that, and I could show you the sales letter quickly, but we got. Let me move this. So it's a kind of a mess, but I'll walk you through it. Our sales page, right, which is ClickFunnels, has a pop-up. Our website, which doesn't yet match that yet, but it will, has a pop-up. Our opt-in page, which is kind of honing in on a specific feature and making a big claim. We haven't done any of this. No blog, no organic, no post or anything. I'm just setting up the train tracks, right?
Yeah.
I got my opt-in page for the opt-in, and then we got the questionnaire form for people who indicate they want a demo, and this gives me a lot of information. And so once this happens, creates a lead in Salesforce, creates a lead in Intercom, and it slacks me a message. Nice. And then from the questionnaire, it sends them to Calendly. From Calendly, get the thank you page, and then once we have the demo, I'll send them the sign-up form if they're a good fit. And the rest of this is all manual. Just converting it and getting them all set up. But what's interesting, what I want to do this in the next first quarter is double down on references and partnerships again, which work for us. Start running some ads, which we've never done. Start writing content, which is going to be huge, which we have a ton of, and then hopefully see some organic out of it.
Cool. Okay, so let's use some time to talk about this leftmost side on what you can do to double down on referrals and partnerships. Scaling social media, obviously ads. If you're going to start with ads, and if you have the budget to do so, then it like kind of alleviates a lot of the need to do a lot of the organic stuff. So that's usually like the first thing I talk about with people is figuring out like their formula. I always say like the more money you have, the less time you need to spend, and if you have less money and more time, then like we correlate the strategies and the channels you focus on differently. But I'm sure you see like Nick Cosman and other people that are spending a ton of money, they do like no organic stuff at all. It's just paid ads. Whereas somebody like me, I've spent tens of millions of dollars on paid ads, but I still don't do it at all for my own personal brands because I don't want to be that Nick Cosman guy, even though it makes you more money eventually. But I don't know, for this kind of business, if I was you and, starting with a couple $1,000s, I mean, again, I don't know, and you don't need to tell me what kind of budgets you have right off the top of your head. I like to start small and figure out what works as opposed to no matter how much money I have. I've done campaigns for Tinder and Living Social and big multi-million-dollar monthly spends, still starting small with new ideas. And so for this, I would think, obviously LinkedIn messaging ads is really valuable because you can find out the exact role of the person and the target. Not all the fit shop managers and fitness shop retail managers are going to have their stuff on LinkedIn. So there's other stuff we could do, but that's one thing. Then I would think search marketing. And so, you're going to want to rush to Facebook ads, and yes, you'll be able to target people because anybody who owns a shop, they're writing it in their Facebook page. It's like one of the unique roles that people were really gloat about. Like, I own a store. You know, your brother definitely has it in his Facebook page.
Right.
So you can still target those people by job. Now, 65 current customers is too low for a lookalike audience, but you can also go and build an email list manually. You could literally go on Yelp and you know, like DM 100 shops, like, hey, what's the email address of the owner? We've got a code. I want to give them 3 months of this software for free or something. If you can get that list up to like 150, the lookalike audience will be even more attractive. I don't know if any of this is like already known by you, then tell me. I'm not even watching the time here,
No,
but
I'm familiar with the concepts, but we haven't done it. Yeah.
okay, so but I'm talking about like what is the low hanging fruit spend wise. That's the first thing I'll touch on. So search marketing. If it's, you know, like if you think that shop managers or shop owners have this need top of mind, I would do some research around the search right away. And I'm recording this, by the way, and I'll send you the video. So that's the first thing I'll talk about, because I would start there because the intent is so high and it's less competitive. You know, like you might go and check a couple searches right now. There might be similar softwares or something out there that people are searching for, then you know it really works. But search is always the first thing I run to because the intent is so high. The second thing I think is the LinkedIn stuff is really valuable because it's targeted, and there are tools out there. I can't think of the one off the top of my head right now, but they're like $100 a month. It'll automate your LinkedIn adding people. And then when they accept, it sends them on a drip campaign, basically. That stuff's really, really powerful. I closed 75K worth of business this year from doing that. And yes, it is slightly brand damaging, but the value there is the message. I mean, the secret part is to keep value in the first message. So I always lead with a question rather than a sales pitch. So, hey, John, I saw you have a shop. Are you guys doing anything to digitize your weight loss challenges, or are you doing any weight loss challenges or meal plan stuff in 2021? It's a simple question. You can be like, no, we really want to do it. Thanks for asking. You go, oh, well, we have a software that does it for you, and you don't have to write anything. It won't have long lines. It keeps everything in the app, blah, 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 blah. And we give you $15 a month per meal plan or something. You know, it's really simple. And then they're locked in into you send them a call link or
good old fashioned headhunt, just
good
find
old
the right guy.
headhunt, dude. Cold. So you can do that scalably through those tools, and I can look it up again and send it to you. They're always changing. Like some of them are closing down, whatever. They're usually in Eastern Europe. Those Moldovan guys will know about it for sure.
Yeah.
So that's the paid stuff I would do. I don't think you necessarily need to spend any time doing blog posts or content marketing. I mean, it's a B2B business. It's literally the same as the business I built. We're a virtual corporate wellness business. We have like 2 blog posts. You need a little bit just so you have something for social proof. If they click on blog, they see an article there. Usually with the blog, I would try and make it an acquisition focused blog. So what is my target demographic searching for? Top marketing strategies for nutrition shops. You know what I mean? So if it's a blog post like that, and then like 1 and 3 in that top 5 list are using your software, these people are offline people. They don't even realize they're on your website. I know for a fact, because with our business, we ask people where they found out about us, and they're like, Google. And we're like, well, we don't have any SEO rankings yet, but we partnered with a bunch of blogs that have really good rankings, and on a rev share. That's how I've scaled the business. So you could also do that too. If there's blogs that already are crushing the SEO, then you don't have to worry about your own blog posts. But so with the content marketing, I wouldn't really spend time on it. It's a really long-term schlep. It takes, 3-6 months to really get anything taken off. But if you see that there's no podcast out there for fit shop managers, you might want to start it, because the content marketing can also be a acquisition strategy. And a lot of people don't know this, but let's say you start the first ever fit shop manager podcast. Then you go, and instead of fucking pitching these people or asking about their marketing, you're inviting them to be on your podcast. You don't even really need to post the episodes. It's an acquisition strategy. So many marketing agencies do this. They create a podcast. They invite CMOs of big companies on. They create rapport with the dude, and they email them afterwards like, hey, Andrew really loved talking with you and would love to discuss actually helping you guys. Sounds like you're working on really cool stuff. And they're like your best friend already, so they're likely. So you could do that knowing that if, a fit shop manager, and I'm throwing that term out, I don't know what it is, a shop owner searches for podcasts about nutrition shops, they're going to find you, they're going to hear about you. Maybe it'll acquire people, but really it's to acquire the individual customers that you invite, and you bust them all out in like a weekend. You know, you're a week, you invite like 60 people, and you know, maybe they're people that have like multiple locations and they're like larger size. So you're only going for like top 10 GNC type guys or something. But that's the only time I would say for this type of business right now that content marketing would be worth it. With the referrals and the partnerships, massive legs there. I agree with you on doubling down. So there's tools like First Promoter. If you're really good, you can build something yourself. But if you want a plug-in solution, First Promoter, again, it's like in Moldova or somewhere in Eastern Europe. It's like $50 a month, full suite of you know, tracking links, referral tools, easy payouts. Like you don't have to build all that stuff. And so you just make, you know, fitmanager.io/referrals or partners. Usually, I think the top affiliates don't like being called affiliates, I think. And so I've noticed in my campaigns that calling it partnerships makes it more successful. But so that's the individual partners. I think there's a big opportunity with B2B partnerships. So, you know, I don't have the examples off the top of my head, but, you know, leveraging what you've already got in the store. Maybe there's some brands that are looking for, you know, like I can't think of some whey line or some supplement line that really wants to spend some money on marketing, and they want to do joint partnership on marketing campaigns with you, with the software. You know, like they want the same customers. They're not competitive, obviously. So partnering with a brand that's got big social media following, most of the followers of that brand have shops or no shops or something. So it makes sense to me that you partner with other large B2B partnerships. So looking for that in the industry. You know, for instance, like what we did with Remote Team Wellness, our wellness business was partner with all the blogs that have top search rank. So I literally went out, I know the keywords that are organically leading a few times a month to our website already. Or, you know, you can obviously do the keyword research, Google Trends research, see what your target demographic are searching, and then lead to Google, find those top people, form partnerships with those people. Hey, we're a software, we want your customer database, we'll do rev share, or we want to write a blog post about what we're doing for fit shops on rev share. So that's been really successful for a lot of brands I've worked with. And I think you could definitely do that. Last thing I'll say, you know, depends on how aggressive you are, but I think cold outreach is really huge. I mentioned it on LinkedIn, how to do it scalably with software, but I've been able to really successfully build lead gen machines, especially for SaaS businesses, via email stuff. So there's two or three good parts to that, and then we're wrapping up, I think, in a little bit. But one is obviously building a list. So I worked with a Eastern European super aggressive team. It might even be, it's not Build a Team, is it? Your company in Moldova, is it Build a Team?
No, it's okay. It's a private guy, yeah.
Okay. No, so I worked with a client in that space a long time ago, and that's where I found out about this tactic. So they scraped Yelp for certain niches of all the email addresses of Yelp. And I don't know how aggressive you are to be able to do that. We're recording this, so don't post it anywhere. But if there's a script you can write that will scrape certain categories of Yelp data, and you can get all the shop info at email addresses. Or there's a tool called Inbox with, I think, 3x Inbox app. I can connect you to the CEO. Kind of scummy company, a little bit gray hat, but they can in bulk, using Google Maps info, they can send a message through the contact us form on any website of any business. So all those nutrition shops websites for like 5 cents a message. Obviously they all get delivered, but most of them are considered spam. So it's like, you know, 1 out of 100, but you can do all the fucking shops in the country for 5 cents a pop. So I can intro you to that guy, but I use a tool. So you could scrape Yelp, or I have a data entry team member in Kenya I can intro you to just at cost, whatever. It's like $1 an email or whatever, but he manually goes in, emails the company, messages them on social, Googles them, finds the email of the owner, adds name and email address to an Excel sheet. He works full-time all day in Kenya. You get a list of all these people. Let's say you want to start with 200. He'll get you 200 emails, $200, whatever. I'm not sure exactly what it costs. I just pay him at the end of the month. But then with that email list, you upload that into a tool like PersistIQ, Reply.io, Close.io. Just really simple. You can use HubSpot if you're already using it. You could do any automation, but these tools are super simple, lean for sales outreach. And basically, the secret then is just write really good emails. So some tactics there. The shorter the email, the better. No fucking attachments, no signature, all text, usually just like 2 lines and asking a question. Like, so, hey, I know who you are. This is the call to action. Like, it's not even telling them who you are. Super vague, gets a reply usually. So if you got a list of 200 shop owners and you're like, hey, are you guys doing any kind of meal plans or like weight challenges this year? You know, it's been known to increase business by up to 75%. Let me know. I'd love to explain to you how we help companies. Something like maybe even shorter than that. You will see a pretty solid response rate. I would put my own money that's 10% response rate, 30% open rate. If the subject is like nutrition shop marketing 2021, or like, do you guys do this? If it was really simple, like, hey, John, do you guys do this? You know, whatever. I always say John whenever I'm like dummying emails, but so obviously the emails get a bit more aggressive as they go on, you know, like, hey, here's a case study of, you've got 65 companies. You've definitely got case studies. If you don't have that created yet, then you need to blast out an email to all 65. You need to ask for video testimonials, like data, screenshots of their analytics, anything you can get. You need that social proof. It sounds like you were already working on that with the $10,000 Nick Cosman thing.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm not worried about that so much as it's just like for the email series, you get like more aggressive. Hey, do you want to chat with the CEO? Do you want references? Here's a case study. Here's a discount. You know, like the last email is usually a message from the founder, like, hey, what gives? That's usually the subject for me that gets the most engagement. What gives? I've been emailing you. This is a pure value for you guys. If you're not doing this, like I literally started as a family company to help my brother's business. You know, I would love to know what the issue is. Here's my personal cell phone number. Text me and I would love to chat, and you'll see like those texts come in. So that email marketing tool, that's something, if you need help with that, we can talk about building that out. The last thing I would say before I let you go is PR. So PR, getting yourself on all these fitness podcasts. So I actually have a coaching client in the fitness space right now. So I personally have like 300 or so podcasts already in my list of all fitness related. So if you want, we could also talk about that. I don't know, the media, fitness related media is probably like 150 or so that I've got. We've been building that list for the last like 2 months. For Nick Royer, he's in Austin. No, he's in Dallas. He is a world record bench press guy who also has a $60 million roofing business. And now he wants to be a fitness entrepreneurial coach for fitness people. So he's getting on all these podcasts and stuff, but he's a TikTok influencer and he's not really cut out for real business stuff. So he's not doing great on the podcast I'm getting him. But you, as opposed to that, there's actual podcasts for these owners of fitness brands and stuff. And they all know shop owners. A lot of people start with supplement brands in the business. So I think there's a big opportunity there to get on and talk about being one of the only guys building tech solutions for this niche, and how in 2021 they can use these tools, talk about the case studies and stuff. So the last thing I'll say is going after the niche PR and niche media, like the bloggers, the YouTubers, the influencers, the podcasters. It's the same fucking thing. It's building a list of their email addresses, and we ran out of time, so I don't have time to go into exactly how to do that. But you can book another time. You can message me, whatever. We can talk again. But basically, the idea is building a list, reaching out to them with some value or a short message, and then it's obviously like, put me on your show, or would you like to collab on this? So that's what I did for my girlfriend. My girlfriend is a yoga and meditation influencer from South Africa and LA, and she everything was in person. She partners with hotels and resorts, festivals, brands, all kinds of shit. Everything fell apart right at the end. I mean, with the coronavirus, and it was really scaling up for her. Like, she did a huge engagement with 2 resorts last year and Puma and all this stuff. And so she was all sad, and I was like fucked up with my marketing agency. I had never done outbound for my own business. It was all, I'm living in San Francisco, bro. Like, people ride the train and go, hey, I just Googled you because of your shirt. I need marketing help. Like, it's crazy. You can throw a rock and find a VC there. So, I didn't have clients in the hopper. I'd work with like 4 or 5 well-funded startups a year that raise like 5 to 10 mil, and I do all the marketing for them. So I charge a lot. So she started doing virtual meditation for me, and I had tried all the apps. None of it worked. and it worked because I was like I was like obligated to do it because someone I cared about was teaching me. So I was like, oh, that's our innovation, the live taught aspect. So we do live taught virtual corporate wellness classes for Facebook, for L'Oreal, for a bunch of really big companies. Already in the first 6 months, we started closing a lot. And it's the first thing we started with was the PR. So I got her on all kinds of podcasts, which not only did good marketing, also transformed her from a yoga teacher to a CEO. She started like, so you guys, you think you know the pitch, you know, you've practiced some marketing stuff, you did the sales process shit that you got ripped off for, no offense, I'm kidding. But because I think of everything as a user acquisition guy, I'm like, what you could have got from $10,000 in ads probably would have got you further than that guy. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But that doesn't mean that we can't do $10,000 worth of marketing for you for $3,500 or something now that you've got that shit figured out. So, but the big thing for her was getting on those podcasts, talking about the brand a lot, getting asked frequently asked questions, and then she started doing sales calls really well with companies after those podcasts. So there's a bunch of intangible benefit to doing those interviews and stuff, but then also you're discovered. And I know for a fact from working with Nick Royer that there's a lot of niche fitness related podcasts and PR and writing. And with January and everybody's New Year's resolutions, I think fitness will come up again with bigger media. And, you know, like those businesses, obviously any retail publication as well. So not just fitness publications. You could get an article written in, you know, Retail Observer or whatever the fuck it is about how, you know, one of the last frontiers in retail are these old school fitness brands, and they're getting passed up by all the influencers with their online stores and stuff. So they need this software to survive, and you're helping small businesses, which is a big thing with coronavirus. We got another fucking stimulus check coming. So it's all about being really relevant. And I think you hit like 5 different things for being relevant. So I definitely think a focus on PR would make sense. But yeah, we're over time.
Yeah.
You only booked 30 minutes. I don't really know anything about how to extend or anything because this is off of the software, off of the MentorPass platform. But dude, I would love to see the tool and see the tools that you've built and learn more. And you know, if there's an opportunity to help you out, I'd be really interested because I have a lot of the resources already ready to fire. I think from already helping some wellness and fitness related businesses. Yeah, well, let me know if you want to like book another time, but I'm going to send you the recording of this. I think there's definitely some action items for you in there, but you know, email me if you have any other follow-up questions, or we can do another call, or we can.
Totally. I'll book you again for sure. I got lots of questions. Oh yeah, the mirror. Here's the first version of the mirror. It's on the floor.
Dude,
there.
Looks super tiny. It's got a.
Yeah, it's like a 5-footer, but it's gonna be meant to hang with the scale, so it's needs to be pretty small. But it's gonna channel all the features into one flow. It's gonna be cool. But dude, let's meet up again. I'll book you again. I really appreciate the insight and the action items.
Awesome, thank you. Awesome. So speak to you soon. Happy holidays, and I'll get you this video in the next 30 minutes after it downloads and shit.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.